We're going to be talking to Tim Beatley in 10 minutes or 8 minutes. And so I was thinking just we would have a little moment for Jaime and I to sit up here and respond. And your assignment is that we have to whittle down a list of 3 things this conference hopes to achieve by next year's conference. And so what's your proposal for one of those things? So what was the first one? More people. I think we're going to achieve that. There's nothing in the world that will stop there being more people. Oh, at the conference? Oh, okay. A policy platform.
Right.
Get it out in the media.
Yeah.
And we're advertising.
Yeah, we definitely did. We were on 6 radio shows and 2 TV things. So we need, this is where you guys can help. We all kind of silo like Jay's and Jaime's thing. So we need you guys to send it out as well. So I will do a dual thing. We need to do it better, but we also need to count on you guys to get it out for us.
Understand why they should be here.
Right.
That's a big challenge.
But in terms of maybe action steps before the next conference, I heard policy over here. I think that's a good one.
Dating app.
Yep.
The dating
Just
app.
slow down and talk to each other. We're all so busy, you know. Having the time to talk to other humans.
We have to learn to talk to humans by next year.
Whoa!
There's an app for that. Yeah. We are going to work on the dating app, of course. What about, I guess I was actually thinking of things, I want 200 miles of sidewalk, or, so get the bike plan done. It's a good one. Invest in sidewalks at all is a good one. Brent?
We had a presenter talk about implementing pollinator habitat. Work to get at least one of those implemented by next conference. 3, 10, 5.
One of those in every neighborhood?
That would be wonderful.
Municipal parking lot.
I live in Fort Bend County, and we have a lot of regulatory stuff, but if on top of that, we had a list of the best practices that a developer could follow, and you could hand them a sheet of paper and say, look, if you do these things, you'll have a streamlined permit process. And maybe that's possible along the coast also.
And that, I could give a half-hour lecture on that. It's a very competitive world of whose best practices are best. And LID was designed to be an alternative to LEED that's not as green. And that's a very dangerous statement I just said, and a lot of people will be mad. And so maybe I'm wrong. And now Andres Duany is creating lean. And it's a weird world of what is probably LEED. There's a movement in LEED to say you cannot call a building in the middle of nowhere where everyone has to drive to it LEED, no matter how many solar panels are on it. The politics of that, I don't know if that'll work, the people who think they're going to get that. And so, that's a really complex question of what do we want. In some other cities, Atlanta has its own sort of LEED, and maybe part of the answer is, we could have our own.
I'm going to ask a question of the audience, actually. Two-way street. So one of the things that we don't do in the environmental community enough is actually talk and get to know one another. So we're siloed up and we don't have strategic visions. We have institutional visions, and I understand the difficulty of breaking out, but we don't even have dinner with each other. We don't know each other, and then we ask each other for assistance, and we're like, but I'm busy doing this other thing. So I'm a big advocate that people fight for their friends even more than missions. So how is it that the environmental community and the urban community can have socialization enough before the next conference so that it's a no-brainer that everybody should be here?
Dating app, yeah.
It's not the dating app.
Do ongoing conversations. There's one called Interpretive Think Tank right now,
Uh-huh.
and it literally, people pose questions and people answer it.
Yeah.
It's like an online forum, so an online forum for this group would be great.
Somebody just mentioned the My Houston 2040, which is kind of like a gathering of different groups that could also be a step in it's been around for a long time, but I think it's kind of a built-in. If more of us could come to it, then that's kind of a built-in venue also. But I think that there should be more too.
Show of hands, because I think that socialization is critical for these kinds of things to happen, and I think our EDs and board directors need to understand that that is critical to being a good professional in urbanism. So, show of hands, who'd rather have those kind of social events during lunchtime or after hours, even if it's on your own time? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Who would rather have a consistent place to eat lunch where we can share all these ideas and socialize during lunchtime? Show your hands. Well, it's not going to be perfect for everybody, so we're just going to have to figure that, but dinner time. I think that people's schedules are the thing that really limits people. So it looked like dinner time was maybe better.
Slightly.
Yeah?
But I think the point is that you probably need both.
Yeah.
I'd like to expand on that a little bit, though. My Houston 2040 is a thing that's existed for a while, and a bunch of nonprofits are part. But I think the real trick is supporting the things all of our nonprofits and all of our government agencies are doing already. And part of the job as a nonprofit partner in Houston is to be supporting the things of the other nonprofits that might not make complete sense as part of your mission.
Mm-hmm.
But that, like Jaime's saying, it's having all of us in the same rooms achieves a lot. And so we don't need to make up a new social hour. Maybe we all need to start going to the ones that people are already doing.
I think by next year, because I feel like this conference is about all of us coming together and then, making change in Houston, the places where we see change to be happening in the ways that we think would be really beneficial. So I think that in that process, a feedback loop to see that we are making progress towards our goal, not just coming together for a couple days and talking about it, but really using this as a way to spur change, that by next year, developing some kind of feedback loop. So identifying the goals and the things and the markers for change, and I think a really good source for those that already exists and that has been recently adopted is Plan Houston, which if you look at the performance indicators, if you look at the goals that the greater Houston community has said that they want, a lot of them talk about all the things that we are talking about. They want safe, healthy neighborhoods, they want access to parks and nature and walkability, equal opportunity, and then if you dig into those and you see the performance indicators that have been gathered together are also would be really good for us to grab onto and use those to track our progress. So I think maybe if we could somehow pull that in and tie it to our charter that we're kind of coming up with, but so maybe integrating more of that so that we can as a group see our growth and over time as a
I
conference.
think one of the challenges, and we're going to have to switch gears and go to Dr. Beatley because he's got to be done here in about 30 minutes. This is so complicated. It's so very complicated when you start looking at it, but it's less complicated than it might be. And so there needs to be some platform like Tom Bacon used Prezi for his presentation that kind of brings all of these. What we don't want to do is send people 1,000 emails. This is what's happening in Houston. We want to have a learning center, and Prezi might be that application that allows us to put all of these things and how they're interconnected. So I think that's part of it, is that we're trying to build a coalition of people that want better human habitat, that, and I think that one thing that Andres Dewani said this morning, which is very true with a certain part of our environmental community, is they think people are kind of a tumor on Earth. We're not going to win over those people. We just need to go on. The folks who are environmentalists but love people and love cities need to just move on. We can't change those people. We need to just say we're a new coalition of people that really thinks that cities can be an environmental solution. Circle the herd that way, and then provide everybody with a learning center so that we can start to learn about how all of these things interdigitate, because otherwise it's like drinking from a fire hose. So we can certainly do that if that makes any sense. And I think that could be done pretty quickly.